that are up there. The first one we'll talk about is perfect competition. Now, for whatever reason, the AP exam loves asking like a question or two about the characteristics of each market. Okay? So, many small firms, identical products, like milk, like perfect substitutes, and I just mean regular milk, not like 2% milk and all the different types. Easy to enter and exit. And once you see or know a firm's easy to enter and exit, you know in the long run, zero economic profits. No need to advertise, because we have identical products. And firms are price takers, okay? And we'll show that in the graph. Okay, so up. Here's your, I'll try this again. Here's your side-by-side graph. And I like to say you drop it for profit. You drop the ATC below the price. You drop it for profit. And if you are making your profit box, you go to where MC intersects MR, which is the profit maximizer, down to ATC and across. And I'll give everyone a second to just write that down or copy the graph, and then I'll talk to you about it. Coach?
Good morning.
It's a great morning. You guys good as far as? Okay. All right. So first thing we start off with Mr. Dog. MR equal demand equal AR equal PID. Okay. So sometimes they'll give you the price and they'll ask you what the AR is, or they'll give you the MR and ask you the price. Just remember it's Mr. Dog. That line takes care of everything. MR equals demand equals AR equals PID. All right. The second thing is the profit maximizer. For all market structures, it's where MC intersects MR, okay? For all of them, they're the same. So whenever they're asking you for the profit maximizer, price or quantity, you just go where MC equals MR. Here it's 8, the price is 15. You're in good shape, okay? Now, the shutdown rule. The shutdown rule is anytime the price is below ABC, we shut down. Why? Because it's cheaper. If you're shutting down and it's below the ABC, you're only paying for your fixed cost, okay? And that's cheaper than if it was down here. Now, if you're losing money in the short run and the price is in between the ABC and the ATC, you continue to stay in business. Why? Because you're chipping away, even though you're losing money, you're paying for some of your fixed costs. And you'd have to pay for those anyhow. So instead of saying paying $10 of fixed cost, you're paying $6. So even though you're losing $6, it's better than losing 10. So that would be the shutdown rule. I'll show you break even in a second. All right, the supply curve is the MC curve above ABC. Okay, why above ABC? Because below ABC, we're going to shut down anyhow. So it's not. So sometimes they'll ask that tricky question that the supply curve is the MC curve above ABC. And again, I kind of said it really fast, but between ABC and ATC is fixed cost, average fixed cost, okay?
ABC and ATC?
Right, this area between here, right, is average fixed cost, okay? Okay, now, in this particular situation, we drop the ATC, drop it for profit, so the firm's making money. If firms are making money, it's easy to enter, so other firms are going to enter, increasing the supply here in the industry, and then dropping the price so we're at the long run. In the long run, we have zero economic profits. or you could call it normal profit. Zero economic profit or normal profit. Now, something the AP exam likes to ask is, like, why would they be in business? Well, even though you're making zero economic profit, you're making accounting profit. Remember, accounting profit is cash. So businesses can make like $1 million a year and make zero economic profit. Okay. In the short run, you can make profit. In the long run, you cannot. And so in perfect competition, if they say long run, you have to be at zero economic profit. And again, if it's in the short run, you can make money. All right. For the last 10 years, the first essay on micro has been monopoly or long run, or perfect competition. So, I mean, if we get these graphs solid in our heads, I think we'll be okay, at least on the first question. Okay, now, are they efficient? Here is consumer and producer surplus. Consumer surplus, everything above the price and below demand. Producer surplus, everything below the price and above supply. Notice no dead weight loss, therefore you are totally efficient, okay? And I'll talk about that in a second, the productive and allocatively efficient. 27. It's a pleasure seeing you this morning. Thank you. Is anyone happy today? I'm in a very, very grouchy mood. I look forward to it. Okay, so in the long run, here is your long run equilibrium for a firm. And notice ATC producing at its lowest point, that's where we're producing. That's productively efficient. When you're producing at the lowest ATC, you're productively efficient. Okay? And we're producing, and how do I know where the lowest ATC is? Where MC crosses ATC is the lowest. So that's productively efficient. If you're producing where MC equals demand, you're producing at allocatively efficient, and we're doing that too. Okay? So we're hitting both spots here.
And allocatively is where MC equals demand?
MC equals demand, yeah. Okay? This is the only market that you're both allocatively and productively efficient. So, by the way, in the long run, if they ask you what's dead weight loss, there is no dead weight loss because you're both productively and allocatively efficient. Okay? I missed one. All right, here's your 5 characteristics of monopoly. Single seller. Okay? A unique good. So like the Orioles are a monopoly for Baltimore baseball. All right? They're price makers. They have high barriers of entry. Anytime you see high barriers of entry or exit, that means they can make profits in the long run. And the last is there's some, when they say non-price competition, they mean there's some advertising. Okay? So even though the Orioles don't have competitors, they want more people to come to their games. So that's why they advertise. Even though cable television doesn't have competitors, they want more people using their brand. Okay? And again, they sometimes ask those 5. All right, monopoly graph coming up next. To me, a very important graph, only because it's for monopolies, it's for colluding oligopolies, it's also for monopolistic competition. Looking very handsome today, Bennett.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome. Okay? All right, I'll give you a second to jot that down, and then I'll talk to you about it. Yeah, I fixed everything.
You did? Thank you very much.
Okay, we're good? All right, so same thing, profit maximizer, MC equals MR. That tells me how much quantity. However, since it's a monopoly, they could charge higher, so I gotta go up to demand. So MC equals MR, up to demand gives me my price. Okay? So that's the first thing. Now, they've asked this question a couple of times, and I've seen it even on test. In a monopoly, is MR greater than demand? Just graph it. You know, here's demand, here's MR. I mean, so MR, demand is greater than MR. Okay. Now, monopolies always operate in the elastic part of the graph. And I try to figure it out as alphabetical, E before I, elastic, at the end is inelastic. Where marginal revenue hits the axis right here, that is the highest total revenue. Okay, why? Because after this, marginal revenue becomes negative. So total revenue goes down. That is the highest total revenue. If I take that line up, go straight up, that is unit elastic right there. Everything up is elastic, everything down is inelastic. That was something they asked last year on the AP exam with the monopoly graph. Is this, like they put a letter, is F in the elastic part? So I would know that. Now, another favorite would be, they'd say, if, let's just call this Bennett gas station in a small town, if Bennett became a perfectly competitive company, what would his price and outcome be? All right, we need to find supply equals demand. So we look at MC, kind of the supply curve, and demand, and we go across. 5, and let's just call this 7. That finds us our price and quantity. So if they ask you if this firm was operating like perfect competition, you just find where the MC curve crosses demand, okay? And that would make that perfectly competitive. All right, we're good? All right, and you could draw another graph, or you could just put it in the first monopoly graph. Again, consumer surplus, everything above price, below demand. So there is consumer surplus. Producer surplus, everything below, and then above supply. So I'm just going to have to move my supply a little there, and there you go. What's left down in this triangle is deadweight loss. And any time you see deadweight loss, you know the market is inefficient. Okay, so I'll leave that there for a second. And I want to go back to the other graph for a second. Okay. Are we producing at the lowest ATC? We're producing here, the lowest ATC is there, so we're not producing on this line, so we're not productively efficient. Okay? Because producing at the lowest ATC is productively efficient. Are we producing at allocatively efficient? Well, that's where MC equals demand. No, we're producing here, so we're not producing at either productively or allocatively efficient. Therefore, we have deadweight loss, okay? Which is there, okay? And I just talked through the monopolies are not efficient. All right, here is a natural monopoly. And anytime you have a natural monopoly, your MC is gonna be below your ATC. Alright, why? You usually have high costs to get into it, and so your ATC starts off very high, and it starts coming down as your MC is below. So I'll give you a second to jot that one down. That's okay. Okay? Alright, for this natural monopoly, the only reason, the way I remember the regulation is MFers. Alright, so it's MR, here's the profit, fair return is the FR, and then socially optimal or allocatively efficient. Now, you know that socially optimal or allocatively efficient is MC equals demand. Okay? Fair return is zero economic profit, so you just gotta get ATC on the price, and there is the profit maximizer. Those are the 3 points that people would argue what should monopolies charge. Now, when government regulates monopolies, they regulate the price. Students sometimes think they regulate the profit. They regulate, so they need to make them charge at PR, PF, and PM. Now, one of the problems about socially optimal.
The question 16 is coming.
Great, and I erased it. Rational expectations. One of the problems here is the monopoly would be losing money and might have to shut down.